In this video, I'm going to give you 5 strange books that will change your money forever. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm only assuming that you're somewhat aware of the amount of financial education there is out there. If you search around YouTube, if you read any sort of financial book, it's sort of all regurgitating the same information. Make sure you make a budget and track your spending. Make sure you invest consistently over a long period of time. Yada, yada, yada. However, I personally have read 5 books that have unintentionally changed the way that I look at money and investing. And the reason why I say unintentionally is that 3 out of the 5 books don't even cover money whatsoever. And the first of those books is this gem called the 5 a.m. Club. And the 5 a.m. Club is a self-help book written by Robin Sharma that offers guidance on productivity and personal development through the practice of waking up at 5 a.m. Actually, before I started back posting on this YouTube channel, this was the first book that I read, because when I woke up at 5 a.m., I was able to feel so much more productive and overall have a lot more time in my day in order to get stuff done, including posting more here on the channel. But this book isn't all about waking up at 5 a.m. and getting straight to work. One of the main topics talked about in the book is called the 20-20-20 formula. And what the 20-20-20 formula is basically a roadmap on how you should spend the first hour of your day if you wake up at 5 a.m. The book states that the first 20 minutes of the 5 a.m. Club should be spent towards exercising. This helps with blood flow and cognitive development, and how I spend my first 20 minutes is running 2 miles in the morning. I will admit that it's not the quickest of paces, but it does help me get my blood flowing in the morning. The next step of the 20-20-20 formula is to reflect. You can do this in a number of ways, whether that's reading, whether that's praying, or even journaling, as I have gotten into lately. But spending 20 minutes in some kind of reflection really does help you own your morning. And moving on into the next step of the formula, which is learning. Nowadays, I spend this period personally learning about YouTube, learning about how to make better thumbnails or videos, and my overall goal is to try to improve on one skill here on YouTube a month so that I can make the channel consistently better over time. However, one of the second major topics that Robin Sharma talks about in the book that I want to mention in this video is called the twin cycles of elite performance. And I believe that this is specifically what has changed my finances, because these twin cycles focus on honing in deep work or focus work as well as skill development. So when you are focusing on your work in short bursts and you are constantly trying to get better over time, this is a formula of success that you can utilize in many areas of your life, including your finances. And since utilizing this for this YouTube channel personally, I have seen some great results so far. But then the next book that I used to compound on the principles that I learned in the 5 a.m. Club is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I'm going to be substituting the word F for care in this video just to keep it a little bit more PG-13. And this book is written by Mark Manson, and it revolves around taking a fresh perspective on personal growth, happiness, and living a fulfilling life. One of the main topics talked about in this book is called the subtle art approach, which basically states that in everyone's life, we only have a certain number of cares that we can give about any certain thing. It is impossible for one person to simply care about every single thing that happens in our life throughout the day. If we do try to care about everything, we're only going to be leading ourselves down a road of depression, unhappiness, and overall fatigue, because 9 times out of 10, we cannot change the things that happen to us, but rather how we react to them. So this approach in this book basically talks about being really cognizant about what you choose to care about and allowing the things that you don't choose to care about not to affect your day in a negative way. It also goes through the importance of having core values, embracing suffering, as well as this little gem that I learned called the backwards law, which states that if you directly pursue happiness, you are more unlikely to be unhappy as a result of that. So this sort of tells me that instead of chasing some arbitrary goal to say that if I reach this goal, then I'll be happy, just to find things that I am happy doing rather than happy achieving. For example, I don't have much control over how many subscribers this YouTube channel gets. However, I do have control on whether or not I make videos. And because I find happiness in making videos about different topics, having the idea in my mind that I am doing something that makes me happy makes the back end of YouTube way less worrisome, because if I was constantly worried about the analytics every single day, then I would find myself miserable, because I would be allowing things that are outside of my control affect my happiness. But then we move forward into the next book, which is called The 4-Hour Work Week. And this has personally revolutionized the way that I think about my 9-to-5 job. And what I got from The 4-Hour Work Week that was written by Timothy Ferriss is that I don't necessarily want to be wealthy in the same way that I wanted to be when I first started this YouTube channel. When I first started this YouTube channel, my goal was to fast track my way to $1 million, to save and budget and be Dave Ramsey, laser focused, only eating pork and beans until I got to $1 million portfolio. However, the 4-Hour Work Week enlightened me to the idea of joining the new rich, which states that wealth is not about how much money you have, but having the ability to live life on your own terms, having the flexibility to work when you want to and to choose what your schedule looks like. Because of this, I made it a focus in my life to get a remote 9-to-5 job so that I had the flexibility to work whenever I wanted throughout the day. I didn't have to sit and wait in traffic and fiddle my thumbs at an office. And also when I didn't have any work, I could work on my side passions like this YouTube channel. The book also also goes through the idea of having many retirements and not waiting until you're 65 to finally have a retirement, but to instead enjoy life while you're actually young and healthy enough to enjoy it. This one really affected my finances because after reading this book, I began to spend more money on things that I enjoyed that allowed me to have more fun with my time rather than only spending my life trying to put more digits in a digital bank account. But let's move on to the thumbnail of this video. And that book is called The Courage to Be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi as well as Fumitake Koga. Now this book is a much more philosophical book, so it definitely doesn't revolve around finances in the traditional sense, even though you can attribute some of the values that you learn to your financial health. And this book also focuses on the theme of separating tasks and distinguishing those tasks between things that are in your control and are outside of your control. It basically says that by focusing on things that are in your control, you will be able to free yourself from relying on other people's opinions and expectations. But this overall book mainly preaches on being present and enjoying the here and now, and not avoiding doing something because somebody's opinion or you think someone may do it. If you think that you can find value in a particular activity in your life, you have to have the courage to pursue that idea or pursue that business no matter what people will think. I see that a lot with people who want to start YouTube channels. They are afraid or embarrassed that their friends may see it, so they don't take any action to get started in the first place. But just like the book said, you have to have the courage to be disliked. You have to have the courage to make bad videos. I get dislikes on my videos all the time, but I don't care because I'm going to keep posting them no matter what people think. I heard a quote that I think was by Aristotle that said the only way to avoid criticism is to say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. And for me personally, I don't think I would find a lot of value in doing that in my life. But the last book that I have to discuss in this video is actually a money related book, and this book is called The Behavior Gap by Carl Richards. And I think that this book is revolutionary because it focuses on the difference between our financial intentions and our actual financial behavior. It talks about the idea that just learning more about finances and reading more books about how to invest, how to save is less important than being disciplined in your financial behavior. I know this for myself personally. I study finance, I work in finance, and I do financial education all the time, but I still have moments where I succumb to temptation and buy things that I know that I probably should have. So this book really highlights how to discipline yourself financially instead of displaying other regurgitated knowledge. This book is one of the reasons why I made a video a while back about why I finally agree with Dave Ramsey about paying off debt instead of investing money for a higher interest rate. Because early on in my investing journey, I was naive enough to think that I would always think logically and always invest my money for a higher interest rate than what my debt was at, rather than going ahead and paying off the debt and getting that guaranteed return off of the book. So this book really lays out how irrational humans can be and allows you to set up a game plan for small, consistent changes in order to get your financial life on track and help you build those financial disciplines. But if you found value in this video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, as I do make more videos about personal finance, investing, and side hustles. And if you do decide to subscribe and join the community, then I will see you in the next one.